Everybody, welcome in. This is Real Talk with Spoon and Puddin. I'll be the only one and only
Oh,
Big
that's who you deal with.
Spoon.
I'd be the pudding. That'd be the red over here. Is that who you deal with out there or something? Okay.
Welcome in, Red. It's a long time no see.
Howdy, folks.
Primary purpose of this podcast is to educate and share thoughts and opinions. When we have proof and evidence on the topic, it will be brought forth. This podcast does not constitute advice or services to anyone. Spoon and Puddin do not accept any responsibility for anyone, or responsibility or liability for anyone, for our guests, or anyone's comments or actions based on the material we talk about on our podcast. This podcast is for private, non-commercial use, and everyone should ascertain that the information we provide is correct and verified at all times. There shall be no editing, or reproduction of this podcast without prior written permission from Spoon and Puddin. You can reach us at realtalkwithspoonandpuddin@gmail.com. What's up?
Not much. What's a red? Oh, look at him. See if you. So you didn't watch my video I sent you Friday. That's what we were just talking about.
Yeah, I didn't get around to it yet.
Oh my goodness, I can't even talk about it now. Just
you can talk about it. You can talk about it.
Shelf it. You know, I wanted you to listen to the guy who was exposing the big tech, government collusion.
Daddy, the question is, I don't know.
That's one of those things I listen to, like when I'm at work, where I can listen to it going down the road or while I'm moving there.
Followed up sending the video to you with great video, like saying, watch it, please. I wanted to just talk about it, but I went to the guy's website. It's
what's his name?
Dr. Shiva. Winbackfreedom.com is the website, but he's talking about how he was up against 3 Twitter lawyers, 3 Facebook or 3 Department of Homeland Security lawyers because he caught him throttling back his content while he was running for Senate against Elizabeth Warren. And he said the judge in the case was saying that this was going to be a historic First Amendment lawsuit because he filed the lawsuit himself and went up against these big tech people in the Department of Homeland Security. That's why I was hoping you would watch the video, because he was showing how Twitter silenced him when he was running for, office.
Well, there seems to be a whole lot of corruption that people don't seem to realize. Like last week, I flipped on the news just to see what they were talking about, because I don't like to listen to the lying media, and the headline that they were talking about was already in Tennessee that you got voter fraud and like 250, 300 votes were cast on one candidate, but they counted for another candidate and all that crap. And I'm like, well, here it goes. It's already starting. That's why we always talk about it don't matter who votes, it's who counts the votes.
Was he breaking up to you, Red? So it was me again. Yeah,
I told you last week it was you. You didn't believe me?
I can't believe it. This mic's been so good for so long. Well, go ahead.
So if it's already started during early voting in just a small rural county in Tennessee, don't you think it's probably happening all over the place? Of course it is.
Well, they're going to set it up. They're going to set the narrative up that this one isn't the freest and fairest, right? Unlike the last one where, abracadabra, Joe Jorgensen ballots change.
Yeah.
I guess
we can't talk about that.
It depends on who takes the majority of the election as to whether or not it suddenly becomes not the freest and fairest.
Right.
Oh, well, it's going to be it's going to be the most unfreest, unfairest, if there is what they call the red wave, which I don't know. I just wish people would need to have a yellow wave of libertarianism.
Well, and
roll across the country.
Here's another thing. I can't remember if it was Nolensville. I don't want to get this wrong, but what happened is, everybody says that there's not no good old boy clique in these small towns, which we both know is lies. Of course there is. So there was a story they had been investigating. I want to say it's Nolensville, but that may not be right. But the chief and everybody was in on it, but they were fixing tickets and everything for all the city officials and all that.
Up in Kentucky?
No, in Tennessee.
Where's Nolensville in Tennessee?
Antioch, Nolensville, down that area.
It's down by Antioch?
It's like South Antioch.
I was thinking of Lake Nolan, I guess, up there.
But it may not have been Nolensville. I may be wrong on that. But it's a town in Tennessee, a small town in Tennessee. But they investigated and was watching them, and the chief was fixing. I guess it was the chief and somebody else was fixing tickets and stuff for all the city officials and letting them get away with things that citizens like you and I can't get away with. And then when you bring it to the attention of the people in this town,
you said on the early voting thing where you were trying to be respectful of the rules and the good old boy club wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, they were 100 foot from the door, but the lady from she was either with the election commission or she was with the voter. Well, either way, she's with the part that handles all this. She come to talk to us and thanked us and said she appreciated where we were at and being respectful and adhering to the rules, because she said for 2 days she'd been trying to get them moved because they were blocking parking spaces, they were blocking the walkway, they were bothering people trying to go in to vote. People were going to vote complaining about it, and she said they were just rude to her and demanded that they were right and she was wrong and they wasn't moving, and they didn't. I asked her, I said, well, what else can be done? And she said, well, the only next step would be to call the police and let them deal with it. But, nobody here wants that. And I said, well, I mean, if that's the way it comes to, that's what you should do. But, them being in that clique, I don't think it probably wouldn't have done any good in a small town like this,
Well, no, not in this town. I mean, they already control everything. You got something you want to show. We'll let Red talk in a minute. I know Red's got, I don't know.
Red, you got something you want to say about any of this? Like the small town,
Yeah. Well, I guess, yeah. I mean, in the end, they should have just called the police to move the people out of the way, whomever it was. I mean, in the end, we presumably still live in America, and that we are supposed to have, law and order, which is what most of the Republican red wave is actually campaigning on this particular term. So, then they should have fully cooperated with the men that came with badges and guns and a license to kill you to, go ahead and move out of the way.
Well, like I've said, this came from the lady. This is not me saying this.
No, I know it wasn't you.
This is coming from the lady that is supposed to control that, right? She come to us and told us that because we were sitting off to the side by the sidewalk where any other election, that's where all your normal candidates hang out. It's by the sidewalk in the grass, away from the parking places and away from the door. And so she came to us and told us that. So that's not me spreading lies or rumors against them. This comes straight from her mouth. And I wish I remember her name, but I could get it if I wanted to. And I have 3 other witnesses that she came and told us that. So,
but you're still going to be, you're what, you're trying to call the thug chief of police who works for the mayor to tell him to move the mayor, Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. If she was to call the police, how well would that work? If your police is part of the clique, and you got your current mayor, and you got your current mayor sitting there, how well is that going to work? Are they actually going to get removed?
Yeah, but you've already seen it when watching the meetings where he was ready to shove people out of his way to get up there and defend his release of the Foyer video against your.
Don't say it.
Yeah. What? Oh, your buddy?
Don't say it.
Oh, what's that? Wrong thing. That's not what you wanted to show everybody.
Well,
you wanted to show people their new water rates.
Well, I'm going to show that too, but we'll get back to that. I've been preaching to people.
He's trying to block you out.
But I've been preaching to people about the amount of the spending that's been going on the last 4 years, and
I
it's been
think
going on
I've
long.
seen Alderwoman Thompson telling something about we have to keep the construction up or the water rates are going to rise. Didn't she just say that here about 2 or 3 months ago?
It rings a bell, but
it rings the bell that they were talking about a water moratorium on no more building, and then all of a sudden she got real defensive of her brother's 40 house project or something.
I think it's more like 190, 200 house subdivision.
It's a big subdivision. So all of a sudden she got real defensive and said, "Well, he's got his subdivision is what's going to keep everybody's water rates down." Isn't that what she said? So,
I think she was talking about.
She was saying that the new installations of taps the price has been increased so much that it's going to help keep the water rates down. So the construction needs to continue because we need to put more straws in the milkshake. And we also need to have more toilets catching the milkshake without an increase of rate. But you have something
a lot of them, a lot of them said that, and I've been telling people about the amount of spending, and I've been telling you after the election next year that your water and sewer rates are going to go up, your gas is going to go up, your land taxes are going to go up. I've been telling everybody that, and this is the first reading because it only gets voted in after the second reading. And guess what? That second reading is going to be after the election, So let's just put it up on the screen there and let you look. And I'll go so I can read it to you. It's an ordinance, first reading, that on January 1 of 2023, your water and sewer rates is going to go up 10% on all structures, right? That's January 1, 10%. July 1 of 2024, it's going to go up another 5%. So in a year and a half, you're going up 15%.
You missed one there, Charlie. It says that effective January 1st, 2023, there will be a 10%, a flat rate increase of 10% in July 1st, 2023 will also happen. And then a 5% water and sewer will happen on June 1st, 2024. And an additional 3% will be on July 1st, 2025. So,
and every year after that. Yeah, I missed that second one. So you're getting a rate structure of 10% increase January 1. Then you're getting a flat increase water and sewer across on July 1st, 2023. A year later, July 1st, 2024, you're getting 5% increase. So that's a 25% increase in a year and a half on your water and sewer. And then in 2025, it's going to be 3% that year and every year after that. So they sit there and tell you that they're not going to raise taxes, and that all this new building and subdivisions and still giving out these water taps is to keep you from having to raise your water bill and your sewer bill and all that. But yet, that's your first reading, and they pass it after the second reading. So after the election, guess what, people? It's already there. I tried to tell y'all this. A lot of people don't want to listen. They think that people spreading lies and rumors.
That's what they'll say next, that you're spreading a lie and a rumor.
And a lot of people can't see the forest for the trees,
Alderwoman Thompson would never lie to y'all. She likes to pat you on the head when you don't shoot your fireworks on the Independence Day. When you listen to the...
I'll remind y'all of this, that we talked a little bit. I think we talk a little bit about that last week?
The week before, I think. Was it the week before?
Maybe the week before. The Sumner County Tax Alliance, they even warned y'all that Portland has got that tax referendum of the 0.5% increase, right? They're telling you, hey, let's we need to vote it in so we can have more money for public safety and street paving. The referendum questions doesn't tell you that the increase is from 2.25%. That's a 22% increase in your city sales tax if you buy in the city limits. Meanwhile, City of Portland spending went from $11.6 million in 2021. It went down just a tad in the COVID year to 10.3. That's not really a big increase or a big decrease for a COVID year. That should have went down further than that. And then it jumps up from 21-22 from 10.3 million to 15.6 million. All right. So in 3 years span, your spending and budget went up over $5 million. That's a 34% increase in just 2 years. You can look at all this up at cityofportlandtennessee.gov/finance/budget. So you don't have to take my word for it. You can go look all this up for yourself. It shows the difference between revenue and expenses for the year, and it is already at a negative $430,300. And if everybody's been paying attention to these meetings, 1 month after they set this budget, I don't even think it was 1 month in the meetings, they were already spending money that wasn't in the budget. And of course, look at all the money they've been borrowing. So who do they come to for the money when they continue to borrow and continue to spend?
You, the taxpayer.
Exactly. So, at first it's half percent sales tax in the city, I was kind of for it. And the more, I'm never for raising taxes to people. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, why would anybody want to vote it in? When they sit there and tell you they're not going to raise taxes, and we know they're lying, and you're going to vote a tax in for yourself, and then they're going to turn around and tax you here, and then they're going to raise your land taxes. What is that? 10% January 1, another 10% July 1, right? 5%. That's 20%. I thought it was 10 January 1, 10 January 1, and 10 July 1.
The following, yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 20%.
That's 10% January 1, 2023, and 10% July 1, 2023. That's 20% increase in 6 months. And then July 1, 2024, it's going to be 5%. And then 2025 is going to be 3% every year. They're not even going to have to vote on it or think about it. They're just going to go ahead and do it. So in the grand scheme of things, why would the people of this town go ahead and vote in a 0.5% tax increase? And the people in there are going to tell you, this is what they're telling you. Well, if you do that, we're going to have more money to spend on public safety and infrastructure of the roads. And the way I look at the budget and the way they're spending, all you're doing is giving them more money to waste. That's all you're doing. Why are we going to raise taxes on ourselves?
Like I said, I think it was that August 1st meeting? Wasn't it the August 1st meeting? I believe that was the one I went to where Dillard and the chief went at it, but I think that was the one where I watched on after I left, and they were talking about the moratorium on the water. I believe it was August 1st. It might have been the one before it.
I'll say it wasn't the one before. It had to be probably in August or September, because it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, but that was the one where Alderwoman Thompson, everyone, if you're in Portland and you can vote, why I say she's the worst alderwoman or the alderman or whatever you want to call her.
Alderperson.
Alder
person.
Alderperson hot carler, She just loves to give hot carls to everybody.
No.
Hey, she lied. She sat there and lied.
They all lie.
I know they all lie, but she lied to save her brother's project because they were talking about putting a moratorium on it.
Well, that's.
And then she said, but that's what I'm saying. This is where we are. What 2 months removed, 2.5 months. At least somewhere in that area, maybe 3. Oh well, now we're gonna have to raise the water.
Yeah, And
So them
the
100
water,
and whatever,
and the water,
the
and the
100
water,
and whatever taps didn't help, like she said. So she's
the
lying.
190, 200 taps. Well, that's
Whatever.
not the only project. There's been a whole lot of taps, and they said, well, we raised their fees and raised their this and that, the health
And you
offset.
can't tell
We
me
don't
that
have
that's
to.
not a hot Carl. 25% raise to everyone who has water, and that's a hot Carl from Alderwoman Thompson to the whole town. Just here you go, everyone. Just get it right all over your chest, just rub it in.
So they said
her brother's construction continues. The tenants that buy the construction end up paying the new higher prices, and his taps did dick for the city.
I had a conversation with somebody that used to sit on the council. They sat on the council for quite a few years, but they don't anymore. And I asked them if they were going to run again, and they told me no. And I said, well, why? And they're in real estate. He told me straight up. He said, I would be lying to you and everybody else, because if I sit on that council, I'm going to be voting on things that's going to benefit me. And I don't want to do that. And even if I sit up there and try to be neutral, there's going to be things that come through there that I'm going to vote yes for, not intentionally, and sometimes probably intentionally, and it's going to benefit me. I don't want to be that person. So I'm going to stick to my real estate and dealing my stuff and not worry about that. And then you got people set on this council now. You think Brian Woodall, who is in real estate, don't vote on things that's going to benefit him?
I'm sure.
You think Drew Jennings, sitting as branch manager at Bank FU, do you think he doesn't vote on things that's going to benefit him or the bank or their buddies?
We can have opinions on these public things and these public people, which is why when I say she's going to give the town a hot Carl, well, that's what she just did. And you get offended and say that that's not. What are you talking about? It's a metaphor.
Because I understand, but you're blaming one person, and it's not one person.
She's one of the leaders. She's the ringleader up there. You don't see it? Oh my God!
I think she's part of the clique. Yeah, absolutely.
No, I mean, I think she's up there at the top of the ringleading board, and it was just it bugs me to all in that that they just sit there and don't give a damn, and then we're getting ready to start, and you put that thing up, everybody's getting a 25% water rate increase. I mean, what's your water bill a month now?
Well, I just had to have another. Well, I say another. I had another main water leak, and that was about the fourth or fifth one that was going to have to be fixed. So I just ran a brand new main water line from the meter to the house and went a different direction and went from PVC to PEX. And went from hopefully that's going to help my water bill go down, because we were losing water.
Yeah, but
must be all those cars in your parking lot running over it.
I would say generally about water and gas, between $1 and $150 a month, depending on if it's summertime, wintertime, because usually the water, sewer, or water and gas bill goes up.
Now you're going to be running what, 125 to 187.50? Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah. Well, if it's between 1 and 150 now, it's going to go up between 125 to 175, and then
150 was 37.
Then every year it's going to go up after that.
So.
But you figure that.
That's all I'm saying. Y'all people don't take my word for it. I watched them when I watched those meetings.
Well, wasn't it about like 6 months ago that they raised it? They raised it $5 for everybody. They just put a $5.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I might be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure that they about six months ago or so they just put a $5 hike just across the board. Every residence raised $5. That was supposed to help offset and not raise the taxes, along with the continued handing out taps and building when you didn't have. I mean, what they should have done is, I feel like they should have just said, we're going to stop the bleeding at this point. Nobody's getting any more taps until we figure out our water issue and figure out all our internal stuff. But they didn't do that. Of course, it's not the dead of summer and we're not in a drought, so everything's okay right now. So,
Well,
but the
But
problem hadn't went away.
have you seen the videos of the Mississippi River? You know, and they're finding all kinds of artifacts and all kinds of interesting things because it's at the, as they call it, the most historic levels of lowness as far as that goes. And they're finding all kinds of metal detector people, or finding all different kinds of artifacts. Some guy found a belt buckle from the Civil War.
The Civil War, huh?
Yeah, they found an entire boat, like the ribs of a boat, back from in Baton Rouge, like from the 1800s. It was a ferry, some type of a ferry. So, but I guess Tennessee's not having a problem. Not your section of Tennessee anyway, because isn't the western part of Tennessee on the Mississippi River? Yeah,
it was pretty dry over here here recently.
Oh yeah, we had some dry months and some struggles here in this town. That's what I'm saying. The problem hasn't went away. It's just the fact that we've been getting rain constantly and it's not been that hot.
Right.
Yeah, but it's still around.
But the issue itself hadn't solved itself. The problem's not going away. We've had this problem for a few decades, and I was told by a source that one of our former mayors, before Wilbur and before this one, that got grants to build lakes and retention ponds to solve the water problem. And then when Mayor Wilbur and that board came in, they just pissed the money away, and that happened. And then, of course, their spending and stuff went out of hand. And then now we got this mayor that's been there almost 4 years, and this board. And
spending.
It's like spending and wastefulness is doubled.
It's almost like every new regime that comes in, it's like, hey, can we spend more? Can we spend more and give the people less?
Well, we talked about that last week. I done the figures that if you done 13,000 as your population and divided it by the 52 million, the estimated money that we owed in loans that are going to be paid out, if we don't borrow any more money past the year 2050, that it would take $4,200. I think it's $4,200 per person, $4,250 or something. So if you had a family of four, you'd have to hand the city $17,000. If everybody done that, then you could pay off the debt. But why would the people do that? Because in 10 years, if the people that are in power now were still in power, you would be $100 million in debt instead of the 52 that you are now. So what do you do?
Not really. So.
Well, it kind of goes to the recent thought that I've had really recently. So it kind of applies, but in a certain sense, I'm going to make it via left field as far as that. But with certain things, when they have a bill and you give somebody money, so let's say you say person A leaves a vehicle behind in the parking lot and says, it's okay for you to sell it. Maybe one of these days I'll buy another vehicle, where it is I'm going. And, and maybe if you ever sell the vehicle I left here in the parking lot, you could give me half of it one way or the other. Well, my initial thoughts were do I just hand that person half of the cash that I get from it? So, okay, going with what you're talking about with the with the budget, with the background stuff, and you're saying that everybody needs to pay a XYZ amount of money. Well, in the end, if you just put the money, if you just give them the money, they're likely not going to pay it towards the new vehicle that they purchased. They're probably going to send it towards this or send it towards that. So my suggestion to this particular person is that, whatever loan company that you have, I could just simply make the payment to it. So in some ways, you, Charlie, you might be kind of like, well, I would just prefer to pay my my whatever amount of money that you said it was directly towards the balance. If they've got money loaned through Bank FU or something like that, go in there and say, hey, I'd like to pay my $1,700 to Portland's loan. I know they can't, but just going with what you're saying, if every citizen goes and gives them that amount of money to quote unquote pay down the deficit that they already have, they're not going to pay the deficit. They're going to take that money that you've brought in and increase their spending.
Exactly.
And that's part of the problem. Like I said, I was going to come out of left field with that sort of but it's a similar kind of a situation that happens with just human beings. So government is full of human beings also, and are going to do the same exact thing. If you go and you say, hey, I'm going to give you $750 to put towards the loan on your new vehicle and all that kind of stuff, but here's the cash. And later on, you find out that, they never spent that money on the vehicle. They just said, well, life happened, and suddenly their vehicle is getting repossessed. You know what I mean?
But it's never their vehicle. It's never the 7 council people and the mayor. They're the ones who spent all the money and voted on this. Imagine if they had to pay 5-fold what the regular average person does, or even 10-fold. Do you think that they would be this wasteful? Absolutely not.
Well, when you think about it, if all those folks actually live within the town limits like they're supposed to, they pay
1/13,000th of what they're voting on, and they're the ones that usually have a cash truck that backs up in their driveway and dumps.
Well, it's amazing to me that how many people get elected by the people, and then when they get in there, I don't know if it goes to their head or what, but then they'll tell you that they no longer work for the people. I don't work for you. I don't work for the people. And when they vote on these things and all that, they care nothing about the people, but yet they cared enough to lie at everything else to get their vote.
Right.
That police car that the chief drives around, guess what? That's the people's car. It's not the chief's car. That city vehicle that the mayor jumps in to run and look at something, that's not his car or truck. That's the people's car or truck. That $7 or $8 million city hall that they renovated, that's the people's city hall. That's not their city hall.
Oh, and don't you dare tell them that, Charlie.
Well, I understand.
That's their building where Bank FU donates pictures of Andrew Jackson. What an oxymoron.
I had my last radio interview Wednesday morning. Was that the second? Yeah, it was the second at 8 a.m. on WQKR. If anybody wants to go back and listen to it, you can go to WQKR.com and pull up the 8 a.m. show on 11/2 and listen to it. But they asked me if I was mayor, would the little farmer that's out at the end of the city limits that don't have time to come and mingle and have the breakfast and stuff, like they do now, where the city leaders, whether it's the chief of police or chief of the fire department, mayor, head of departments, get together and have breakfast, lunch. He said, would that person have the same access to you? I said, absolutely. I said, I'm me. I'm the same as him. He can call me. He can come to my office. I'll go visit him. Whatever has to be done. That's because I want to work for the people, right? And I'm one of those people. I'm not going to go in there with a big head and give out favors and turn my back on the people. That's what I'm fighting against.
Yeah.
But you know how many of the 7 sitting on the board has told me that they don't work for me? Two directly, and the rest of them when they don't answer the emails.
Call them by name. They're a politician. Call them by name.
They already know who they are.
Well,
I've already talked about it before. No, let's just.
No, I got it. Do you need me to send you the? You're so worried about the slander BS. Defamation that these.
I just want to keep moving forward. I just want to keep moving forward with the information we're giving out and not waste the time.
They just tell them who they were. Simple. I mentioned my thing with Callis 2 weeks ago when I met him for the first time on July 1st in front of you.
Well, now you got 6 board members because that one is a write-in candidate and got himself removed.
Yeah, well,
you see how smart he is.
Yeah, but you sent me something this week about fluoride that Kentucky's talking about removing it.
Yeah.
So.
And that's something we're going to work on. If I get mayor, we're going to work on it hard, and if I don't, we're going to go in there at them and still work on them. But if people would just look at everything that happens when I hear something in the background, research all the physical and health benefits or non-benefits of fluoride, they would have a eye-opening experience there. And I actually had a conversation with somebody this week about the not so great benefits of fluoride in the water. And, so hopefully some people will open their eyes. But, here's the thing I really wanted to hit on is the same people that gave away a bank to the chamber. And I'm not trying to say anything bad about the chamber because I know the chamber does lots of great things for the city. They host a lot of events.
I don't.
So this is nothing. It's nothing against them, but the fact that you gave away a bank and the property for them to use, and people say, well, they didn't give it away. Yeah, you did. You give it to them. They're going to use it, and we're going to foot the bill for it. The people are. That you probably could have got around $1 million, if not more, out of. You had another piece of property out there that you put up for sale, and then when you got the bid on it that you wanted, then you declined to sell it. That was another round of $500,000. So let's say that's 1.5 million. And you have other real estate that you're holding on to as a city instead of selling. So you're coming to the people, and you already got this first reading, and in the second reading, you're going to vote it in after the election. So you're coming to the people after telling them we're doing everything we can not to raise taxes and raise your rates. So you're coming to people after the election, which I told everybody it's coming, after not selling these real estates and pieces of property to put the money back into the city to help the people. You're coming to the people after all that, and you're going to raise their water and sewer rates in the first 6 months by 20%, in the first year by 25%. Do people not stop and see that and pay attention to what the hell is going on? I don't know how else I could put it. I've give you the evidence. I've told you to go look for it yourself. I don't know what else to tell the people.
Just let them suffer the consequences.
Move out of the city, Charlie.
Yeah, get out of there.
I thought about
sell and go quick.
What? Is there anyone left? That's your mama.
No, that was what you spit me that about Kentucky, and it said fluoride is the only drug that is forced as mass medication of the population with no control of dosing.
And they'll tell you.
But your current mayor loves you. He's giving it to you.
But they'll tell you we do that because it's good for your teeth.
It's poor people's teeth.
The poor people can't afford to take their kids to dinner.
The poor people who can't afford $1.25 toothpaste.
And then when you go to them and ask them
for $1.25.
Then when you go to them and ask them for a sample to make sure they're not adding more than what they're supposed to, do you get a sample of where they're putting it in at, or right down from where they're putting it in?
No, you don't get. No,
you get it at the very end of the damn line. So
can't you get a sample? Can't you get a sample from your house, Charlie?
I can.
Aren't you like right down the street from it?
Yeah, he is. It says right there.
Well, what's going to happen is we're going to just have to spend our money and get samples from different places and send it in.
23 human studies and 100 animal studies link fluoride to brain damage. So the mayor is damaging everyone's brain. I can say that because he could take it out tomorrow, but he won't. He won't even put it on the agenda, the twat.
That's not a part of their concern, you know.
No, they got to raise the rate
they're
25%. Maybe the fluoride rate went up, and they had to raise the rate, you know, so they can keep pumping.
They got some cronies that need water taps for their subdivisions, and they got to raise. They got to raise rates at 25%, and they got to.
We make it look like they pay for those taps, pay exorbitant amounts for those taps, you know, when probably they don't really. You know, it was all a lie.
What's like the study they done a few years back out of the 40, I think it was 41 factories or 42 factories in the town, only 19 of them ever paid any taxes.
Well, that's the unfortunate part about most cities, you know, and these companies that they're trying to encourage companies to come to areas, and that's the first thing they do is give away the taxes. You know, we'll give you tax credits, or, you know, you won't have to pay, you know, but in the meantime, it's, you know, we, the people that are there and, you know, that are having to pay, you know, and a lot of times the locals aren't even the ones used in building or developing this properties. A lot of times those are companies that come in from areas that aren't even, you know, let's just say use Portland for an example. You know, they're not hiring locals to do the building projects and to do the work and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, indeed, locals may end up being hired later on to work at these places, but you know, in the end, it's not really helping the infrastructure as far as that goes. You know,
it's actually hurting. It's actually hurting the infrastructure.
Yeah, because you know, at some point they're going to be using all that resource that you're complaining about right now.
So they'll give 22 manufacturers or more as time goes on, probably the leeway to move in here without paying any taxes, but yet they'll come to the people and want to raise 25% in a 6 month period, and they're okay with that, and the people are okay with that. I'm not okay with that. That's just one part of it. And I talked to somebody the other night when I was handing out candy, and they want to know some things, and I told them, and I said, well, what's one thing that you're majorly wanting done that's not being done right now? And he said, maintaining the roads and this and that. And we was talking about something. And I said, well, if they cut the wasteful spending, well, he said he wanted it done without raising taxes. He said, because they said we don't have any money. I said, well, if they quit the wasteful spending and utilize the money wisely, you would have the money to make sure those roads were paved and maintained, wouldn't you? And he said, you're absolutely right. I said, we're going to fix that. He said, well, it sounds good to me. I said, I'm a person. I said, I never want to raise the taxes. I said, but anybody that promises you that they're not going to raise the taxes, I said, they're lying to themselves and they're lying to you, because if they continue to wasteful spend, guess what? They're coming to the people and the taxes are being raised. Somebody kill that.
Is it your gun work getting done there for your new modified 223?
No. That was
I thought maybe it was your hat, your gunsmith thing there.
Oh, that'd be nice. He's probably going to start on it, next month. He when I brought it to him, or when it was sent to him, I should say, he had a 6-week backlog, so it'll probably be just after Thanksgiving when he starts working on it.
I didn't know if you ready to get that chamber reamed down and cut to that new caliper, huh?
Kim,
oh, yeah.
The airport is a whole different ball game, and they get.
I was watching something. I was watching a video the other day about how people who live near the airport are also being lead poisoned. Have y'all seen that?
No.
Oh, they still use leaded fuel in airplanes, especially the small Cessnas.
Oh, I don't know.
I was like, what?
But Doug over there and the airport, they work really hard and really close with the state and everybody on that level, and they get lots and lots and lots of grants. And I think the last thing I heard from him, they got that last renovation they done of the runways and all that, they got done early on the project, and they actually were under budget from the grants that they received. So everything good you see coming out of the airport, generally, it's most of it is not coming out of the taxpayers' hands. It's coming out of grants and stuff, because they do a really, really, really good job over there. And that's a good. I mean, that's great and wonderful. And I feel like there's more that the people within the city could do to get more and more grants for using in the city for infrastructure, whether it's water lines or roads or whatever. There's grants out there to get. Of course, it takes a lot. I'm sure everybody doesn't understand. It takes a lot of time and a lot of work and staying on top of those to get those grants, but they're out there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that this guy watches Engineering Explained, but you can see it down there. It's called Avgas. Let's see. Yeah, see Avgas 100LL.
Yeah.
And he was talking about it, and what it is it's still being used in the propeller Cessna planes. And he was showing that in 1986, it was like 0.1 grams of lead per gallon was what was in gasoline that comes in cars. Where he was showing this gas has like 22 grams or 21 point. He's like, it's an insane increase in the amount of lead that's in a gallon of gasoline for airplanes, for the airports. And he said they've already proven that near airports, because of the exhaust that's coming off of that children especially are more, you know, it hurts children more. You know, they're more susceptible.
Yeah.
So basically, what he was showing was that
is that all airports, or is that bigger airports?
More the small ones, actually, because
Okay.
the commercial jetliners
because generally
they're regulated. The Cessnas, the one-engine Cessnas, the little single
Right.
prop engine, they're not regulated, and the engines are designed to be run with lead gas. And for some reason, nobody stopped it or made the switch. So they're just. But he was showing that these airports, hurt children because of the lead that's coming out of the gasoline. And he was saying we could fix this tomorrow, but the government doesn't regulate those planes. They're not regulated at all. But it was just odd that he was saying how you act like that lead doesn't count when they've did like 100-fold increase in the amount of lead that's in a gallon of gas. And he was saying that, here we are as a people, but just going along the fluoride level, to talk both things, so naturally, when I seen that, I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, they really still have leaded gas. I was like, man, I didn't know you could buy leaded gas still. I thought it was completely gone.
Well, speaking on that, you talk about those small planes and stuff, and I live pretty close to the airport. My cousin, he's a pilot. He flies all the time. He loves to fly.
I guess you should ask him about Avgas 100LL.
I will the next time I talk to him. But it wasn't but several years ago that he had something that happened to a fuel line or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't close to the airport. So he actually landed his plane.
I hear you.
He actually landed his plane on Highway 52 between Westport and Lafayette. And he called and told me about it days after, but he got help from a truck driver, because the truck driver seen he was real low and actually blocked traffic on one side of the highway to give him room to land the plane without crashing it. Because he said he only had two places. He had a field, and there was a lot of trees in that field, and he had the 2-lane highway there. So he was able to land on that 2-lane highway and push it to the side, get it out of the way, and he got help from a truck driver that was actually paying attention and seen him. I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, if he was looking up in the air, he apparently wasn't paying attention to the road in front of him.
Well, he was. The plane was coming at him, I guess. So maybe didn't he see that rabbit or something he ran over?
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't get around to it.
Uh-oh.
Oh, well, we'll get some feedback. But All right, I guess anything you got to say, Red, or
Oh no, I just came on to say hello because now I have plenty of time.
who's got the radio? Who's got that up? Spoon. He's usually the one monitoring that all the time.
All right, is it gone now?
Hello, testing, 1, 2, 3.
All right. For some reason, I kept getting the feedback from
Yeah.
Red. You there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right.
Hello.
Well,
Yeah,
We're
no,
just-
I've got plenty of time nowadays. So just plus Trey's favorite time of the year when you roll clocks backwards and forward.
I like to go. I want to split the middle eventually.
he didn't even know we rolled the
I
clock
thought it
back
was
an hour.
tomorrow.
Did
I didn't even know.
Yeah, see, that's the less you pay attention to it and just go with it, it just the more normal it is. But yes, I got up like super early this morning. I got up super early this morning and I was already dicking around, doing stuff because I've got lots of time now, or not lots of time. I still have the same amount of time, but now I'm going to I've got lots of things to do. As far as that goes, because I swear to God, I think we were freaking mini hoarders or something.
Oh no, you don't even know the half of our problems.
Well, I don't go to auctions and buy other people's junk yet.
Miss Kim, yes, I will be out on Tuesday. We have three voting locations. You have Corinth Church, that's where I'm zoned for, is my precinct. You got the Portland High School, and then you got the Seventh-day Adventist Church out by the Old Highland Hospital and the nursing home. So it depends on where you are. But I'm going to be floating around between all three of them. I might have people at all of them. I hope. I think I have all that set up. But 2 short days away, Election Day, people.
Yeah.
Go like and follow my Charles Cole for Mayor Facebook page. You can message me on there. I think my wife.
Wait, is that back up? Is that back up, Charlie?
Yes. And I think my wife even put my phone number on there in case somebody had questions that they needed answered immediately. So,
well, that'll go really well. All kinds of strange phone numbers on your phone.
well, no, it's that's only for people that have something they need answered right then. If it can be sent through message or whatever, that'd be the best way. But you're at the high school, yeah. I know for sure my father-in-law will be at the high school, and then I'll be checking in. I don't know who they got all set up where, but we'll get the sign set up and get people there. And
yeah. Well, I was glad you come on, Red.
Charlie just gave the snap to somebody.
What you had.
That's my oldest daughter, or my middle daughter. Sorry, oldest one in the house.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess I ain't got nothing. If you ain't got nothing,
Just remember, people, get out and vote. Look who's wasting all the money. Who keeps raising your
vote for your incumbents, since you like your water bills going up and taxes going up.
Here, I got something I can interject. I can't wait.
Constantly changing these.
I can't wait for effing Tuesday to come, so I'll just it will go away, and now I can go back to just watching normal old commercials. That the fluoride is designed to make me happy over. Because I am getting seriously tired of all this political crap.
I'm ready for it to be over with.
Even out here in New Mexico, I'm going to say this, and we've said it many, many times. All of this, they get on there, and the closer you get to that election day, the more
Hostile.
Yes, that the ads are. And I don't understand why people can't freaking figure out that whether you're a Democrat or Republican or an independent in the middle, we're all here. We're all here. None of us are, bad or worse because we have a different idea, and that's one of the things that I think I get, more about, like, oh, you're voting for these people or you're voting for those people. If you vote for this person, oh, this is an election that can swing the balance of power. Yeah. And and we're all supposed to be Americans. So why in the hell are we, swinging the balance of power one way or the other? If more people would just come, get to the point where, it's just live with one another.
There's the problem in itself. What you said right there, you said it numerous times. They said it will swing the balance of power. That's the whole problem with it. They shouldn't have the power. The people should have the power. So if anybody comes out and says it's the most important election, we got to vote this way to swing the power, I'm immediately not voting for that person because they're not there to represent me.
Nope. They're just there to represent RD.
Well, I'm be happy that it'll be over finally.
Hell yeah.
Spoon's going to figure out if he's got a.
Now, I certainly hope, Mr. Charles Cole is, becomes, the elected official of Portland, and
he can't do any worse.
It'll be an insight. It'll be an insight to politics, like
hold my beer.
We've had,
Don't drink beer. Hold your wine. I was like, hold my box of wine and watch this.
So I look forward to it. I hope the folks of Portland, Tennessee, please go ahead and vote for Charles Cole because I think it'll be an education as to the interior of politics like I've never known because I've never had a friend that was in politics like that anyway. And so vote for Charles Cole for office just to keep me entertained.
Well, the main important thing, of course, I hope that people would go out and vote for me, and I want their support, and I want their vote, and I want the chance to represent the people in the right way, different from these other people that say they represent the people when they don't. But
Charlie, have you gone over to the town cemetery and politic there?
No. I'm not a politician, so I don't belong there.
You got to go and see if you could dig up some votes, brother.
we gotta run off some vote for Charles Cole papers, and then we'll go to the cemeteries and we'll just lay them on all the tombstones.
But the number one important thing that's very important, I think, should be to everybody, is to use your constitutional right. And get out and vote. Whether you vote for me or not, get out and vote. Let your voices be heard, because that's one of the few rights that they hadn't stripped from us yet.
But remember, that's not a big enough to make you responsible for everything these idiots spend. There's no way. There's no justification that vote puts you on the hook for these millions.
And remember, there's other things being voted on, like the tax referendum, where they want you to vote a tax in. You make up your own mind with that. They're going to raise your water and sewer 25%. So, if you want to tax yourself on top of that, go ahead. But the other things, like the amendments that on the national level,
you might be screwed on the water thing. They may go ahead and even if you kicked them out, they might still have time to swing that one through. So,
oh, it's going to go through.
It looks like it's going through.
It's going to go through before the next guy gets in there,
before they can get him out of the office.
But of course, the election is going to be over before they officially voted in. So, they got what they wanted. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, they know how bad they're going to, hot, Cleveland steamer you, hot Carl you.
Everybody get out and vote this Tuesday.
Hey, Charlie,
Super Tuesday.
Being that Bears fan, goes Dolphins, buddy. Go Dolphins today. With that bare ass.
It don't even affect me anymore. That's how bad it's been over the years.
All right, everybody. I guess we'll see y'all next week, huh?
See y'all next week. Red. Charles, go for Bear. We're out.
Yeah.